Hello there, little cow pokes. Yeah, I'm in bed again. I have good reason though this time. Uh, I had like no sleep. I'm not exactly sure why. I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep. So, plus it's really hot here, so I get the added joy of having to have the window open and listening to what sounds like a weed whacker. While my nerves are frayed, I just took my pulse, and my pulse is good. It's like 78, which is acceptable. Uh, and I'm just killing time while I sent the aid worker to go out and spend some of that uh, free food money. And yeah, I'm not sure what happened there or why I didn't sleep or why I woke up insanely early, but I didn't go to sleep until around 6 o'clock in the morning. I woke up around 8 o'clock, so I had like 2 hours sleep, and I didn't sleep good the night before. But you know how sleep works. It's like cumulative, what do they call that, a sleep deficit or something? I don't know. But anyways, since this will help me kill time and do you absolutely no good whatsoever, especially with the very familiar lighting arrangement. Um, yeah, what did I just say? Oh, this will help me and do you absolutely no good whatsoever. Um, but yeah, this will have to be my video for today because after that broad gets back with the token bits of food that I sent her to get, I am going to sleep. And there won't be no video for today because it will be tomorrow when I wake up. Make sure of that. Um, um, yeah. Do you ever wonder about sleep deprivation, exactly why it's such a terrible thing? You know, why it weakens your immune system or why it's so terrible for you? And the effect that it has on your brain, like why can't your brain handle uh, being awake for more than like 3 days at a time without you starting to lose touch with reality? I mean, now's probably not a good time to ponder that since my brain's working at minimum capacity. But I would say they say that like you only use like 15% of your brain, and yeah, I think it's like to block out all the subconscious horrors that need expressed through dream symbolism, and you don't get that, and then it spills over into the real world, and you start freaking out. That's why you see. That's why meth heads are so dangerous. Is because they don't sleep for like 3 days, and plus they're on meth, of course. Uh, uh, but yeah, it's the sleep deprivation that makes them among the most violent of criminals because they start to slip uh, from the face of reality and start doing heinous things. Anyways, those itches. But yeah, this is just an aberration. I don't usually like not sleep. Um, I can say I don't like it, and it's very horrible. And I feel like the most amount of pain that I have felt in like a very long time. I am just a cornucopia of unpleasant sensations. And yeah, it's, see, there's like pain, and then there's like acute pain, like where you're doubled over from appendicitis and you can't straighten up. Well, this is like probably acute pain for most people, but it's not like appendicitis pain, you know, because I'm trying to think when's the last time I really had the kind of pain that stopped me dead in my tracks? Okay, my brain is flashing back to when that dog stuck its fang accidentally up my nose and pulled. Um, yeah, When you have CRPS, acute pain takes on a different meaning. Have I stabbed myself recently? No. Um, it really hurt. Oh yeah, it really hurt when I had already had that um, hyperextended finger. Yeah, that would be acute pain. So yeah, that was bad. That kind of stopped me in my tracks because it made me like lean over the bed in a prayer position and make a four-letter word prayer to all deities above and below, to just cursing them for how that finger felt. It's actually this finger, but it's better now. Mostly. It's still kind of fat, but it's mostly better. But yeah, that was acute pain because that had 178 pounds pulling on an already injured finger. So yeah, that counts as acute pain. And I don't like the phrase acute pain because there's nothing cute about it. I mean, these silly ass word games. Um, yeah, I heard a funny one where they broke up a word, but I can't remember it now. But they did it as part of this show I've been watching, and they did for therapists. If you break therapist after the E, it's the rapist. So they did that on Saturday Night Live with I think Norm Macdonald as uh, Burt Reynolds, as young Burt Reynolds, saying, "Because you chewing gum." I'll take the rapist for $400 here, Alex. And he's like, "No, that's therapist." He's like, "Oh, whatever, whatever it is, I'll take it." But anyways, yeah, that always struck me as, I don't know why that one got me particularly, probably because I've heard that word so many times in my life, acute pain. So yeah, acute pain is actually the complete opposite of what it is because it's the least acute pain. So yeah, this is where my brain is and the level of my brain functioning. And yeah, I could probably turn this off. It's not much better, is it? Maybe it is. I don't know. We'll hang with it. It doesn't matter. This is just like a filler. Uh, yeah, I did fall after I moved the chair, which it was my own fault because I didn't use a cane or anything like that. And I didn't do anything to my thumb. It's fine. But at first I thought I did something to my thumb, but I fell after I did that, or after I moved that chair over there, because I have this tendency to get cocky, uh, like, and just pretend like, oh, I can walk normal. I don't have to be careful, especially after I do something like walk for distance or lift weights or do something physically taxing. Then it will give me confidence to hurt myself because I will be like more confident that I can do things when actually what I have done is taxed my legs more, so that I am more likely to hurt myself. So it's kind of an odd vicious circle. But anyways, I absolutely am a complete vat of vapidity today. I have nothing of value to say about anything. I have not slept. Uh, I have nothing to talk about, and just been watching a TV show. I'm not gonna talk about TV show because that's boring. It used to drive me crazy. It's like me and my brother like switch lives because when he was going through his clinical depression, all he did was watch TV, and he would drive me crazy because all he would talk about is TV shows, and I want to talk about real life. And now, through some fault of my own, but also through circumstances, I am watching a lot of TV, so I will find myself talking about TV while he's talking about actually going out and doing things. So it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of been flipped around. I don't know, that weed whacker sounds pretty close. I don't know how close. Yeah. But I did look up about the, I guess Trump passed the stimulus package, it probably has nothing to do with the food stamp bump that I got. Um, but I guess he's gonna throw like $1,200 my way. I'm still not gonna vote for him, but he's gonna. Why did I have to get political? I hate politics. It's so stupid. Um, but he's gonna throw $1,200. It's very reminiscent of when George Bush had like a stimulus package. I forget what year, but it was like right around election time too. And you know, he threw some money and said it was to stimulate the economy. It was more like wasn't no $1,200. It was more like $600 or something like that. And of course, it doesn't make any sense, but you know, it's free money. Most people like free money. Okay. Uh, but apparently, at first I thought it was only for people who had filed taxes. I looked into it a little further, and it's like it's just they just started doing it, and so it spread over time. So they've only gotten to about uh, well less than a third of the nation so far. So they told people like on Social Security, or what I get is like a survivor's disability because like I'm surviving child of a veteran or something like that. But anyways, I'm not even gonna think about it or worry about it. It's like other people, like you need to, if you haven't filed taxes in the last 2 years or any taxable income, you have to contact the IRS, and you can still get your $1,200. But I ain't doing any of that. Uh, uh, because it looks to me like from what I've read so far that the IRS doesn't need my information because the money is being funneled through the IRS. And since I don't file taxes, other people might have to like say, "Hey, IRS, I exist," but I don't have to do that because the IRS is breaking into the SSA, which is the Social Security Administration, and they'll get my records off of them, and I already have direct deposit. So I called this morning at the suggestion of Cindy. I called my bank, and they said, yeah, okay, you got the same amount of money you had before. What are you bothering us for? No, they didn't actually say that. Just automated. It's, of course, automated. Back in the day, you would actually have to talk to people. It was horrible. I hated it. Uh, Everything's all automated, of course, now. But if you really want to get things done, a lot of times you have to talk to somebody. And I had a problem with my bank that one time, and it was like I will never get through to a live human being because they would send me from one menu to another menu. And then it was like getting the runaround by artificial intelligence, by machines, like playing jokes on a human being. But I don't know how long it took me to finally get through, and I had to actually reason out a way to get through their automated telephone system to actually talk to a live human being. And I've never considered myself to be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but usually I can reason certain things out. But that took a while. That's like it's almost like I felt like saying, "Oh, it took so long to get to, I forgot what this was all about." Just as a joke. It's like I'm not exactly sure why I'm calling you. How's the kids? How you doing? Anyways, yeah, I'm just waiting for her to get back. It's like I should have canceled yesterday, but I got the bright idea of to try to like rearrange my sleeping schedule, which backfired on me because I want to be up early in the morning, and actually the opposite happens. Like start getting sleepy when I want to wake up. So I managed to do the exact opposite of what I wanted to do. So yeah. So, but maybe this is a good thing. Me being, yeah. Why is I don't. They probably don't know. Like, why is sleep so important to your sanity? Why do you go insane from sleep deprivation, and there's this a lot of stuff they don't know, and a lot of stuff I think they pretend to know, but they really don't know. But yeah, the reason why I'm not sitting up in the chair, which I probably didn't even mention my good reason for that, is not so much that I haven't slept, it's that I have to unplug all these cords and then plug them back in, and I don't want to. It's a very, very sad statement. I don't want to. Oh, that. I don't want to because I didn't sleep and I'm lazy. I do not want to be awake and I don't want to be in this much pain. I want to be unconscious. And, yeah, this is. But I'd have to unplug everything to move the computer over there because the cords won't reach. So, I got my phone charged in. I'd have to unplug that. I have to unplug my speakers. I have to unplug this microphone. I have to plug the power, and then I have to plug it all back in together. And, yeah, that is, that makes me sound really lazy. But yeah, I am pretty lazy at times. I'm lazy when I don't sleep, especially. But, so yeah, that would actually pay for my next 3 months' rent, this stimulus thing. Because three, it's so cheap to live here that 3 months' rent is $1,275. So actually, just my monthly paycheck is 12.48. So it's almost like here's my. I can like hand over my paycheck. Um, Nobody asked you. I can hand over my paycheck um, for May. Maybe still get $1,200 and still have like $4,500 saved up, and then not have to pay the rent um, until July if I happen to be stuck here. So it's just too bad that this place is a flaming shithole, and I hate all my neighbors, and that I want to roast the landlord on a spit because the place is so affordable. That's why I enjoyed living here so much. It's so affordable. There's a stream and a backyard, an adjoining park. There's actually a place to fish that the stream flows into, but they drained that, um, and it's no good anymore. Not that it was a great place to fish, but it was right by uh, my ex friend's house. But like when I moved in here, I was like, this is perfect. Not thinking about how imperfect people are and how imperfect people were going to buy and move into the building, and how I never shared a hallway with people before, so I didn't understand the significance of not being able to have my own door. And I did not, boy, was I stupid, come to think of it. I did not understand how, like, people like to sit on the porch in the summertime, and my living room is situated so I have three gigantic windows on the porch, and the only logical place for my TV is in front of the three gigantic windows. It's just the only way the room can be set up. There is no other way to set up the room. That's just the way it has to be. Due to the way the cable and due to the way the wires are connected, due to the way that the my TV has a reflective surface, and I need the least light amount of light in the room, so I need the light behind the TV. It's a whole big thing. So I didn't reason any of this out. I was just like, wow, this is. I got like woods back there, a lot of greenery. It's not too far from my brother's house, foster brother, same as a brother. Um, it's a new city, and the rent's cheap, and it's the nicest apartment I ever had. And then it's like all turned into a shit Sunday. And but the rent is still cheap. That's the one thing I can say is the dude never. Seriously, what is this? I keep getting like texts from Washington High School. Do I look like somebody that should be getting texts from Washington High School? Uh, First of all, I have a 9.5 grade education, so I don't think I'm a teacher. And I don't think there's too many students that look like me. Though I often have dreams that I am in high school and like 35 years old, and that I never got out of high school. And oddly enough, they aren't nightmares. They're more like funny, you know. That should be a nightmare if you are 35 years old and still going to high school. But I have that dream a lot. Like I'm still in high school. And everybody knows that I'm old. And they don't make fun of me for some reason. But I'm just the old guy in high school. That's very weird. And also, there's no sexual perversion in it, which makes no sense because I'd be a 35-year-old dude around high school girls and, yeah, discovering their sexuality and being naive. So I don't know. I don't understand the psychology of those dreams at all. But they are dreams that I have, yeah, maybe once a month. Yeah, I got to block that number on that phone. So I'm gonna start blocking a lot of numbers on that phone. This phone just doesn't shut up, and it's alerting me on things all the time. I don't know if your phones are doing that now. They're alerting you on like Corona this, COVID that, Trump this, Trump that, or you're probably like more tech savvy and like know how to turn all that crap off. I do know how to block numbers, so Washington High School is getting blocked. So that is the high. Wait a minute, that high school's in Canton. I don't even live in Canton, so why would I be getting texts from Washington High School all the time? And they send like one of four texts. That's why it said beep, and then beep again, and beep again, and however many times it beeped. So, like I said, this video is a complete well of vapidity and meaninglessness, and there will be no profundity therein. Only unnecessary $10 words thrown here and there in a pretentious manner. Boy, when I used to be able to pronounce things and had teeth, those were the damn days. Um, yeah, I'm just killing time, and I can't even. Yeah, my brain is like my brain is on lockdown and quarantine from intelligence, so I can't really think of any interesting stories to tell you that I haven't told you already. And I did think of a few actually. Um, yeah, and I got a lot of stories. A lot of stories. You know, we're like I said, when you predate Pong, you go out and make your own fun. You know, whatever that may be. It might be the kind of fun where you're having rock fights with someone and hit them in the head and knock them down and wonder if they're dead. But by God, it was interesting. Um, yeah, this is the Buckeye State, and I'm pretty sure if it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure that Buckeyes, which they make those candies out of, they actually the husk of a Buckeye is something that you don't want to step on or you don't want thrown at you because it's a bunch of spikes, and inside is that little Buckeye poisonous nut thing. But they are like they do look like those candies. Um, but yeah, I think my brother was remembering that we'd climb that Buckeye tree all the time. That was in the Littman's yard, which is a relation of mine, where I spent like most of my childhood because we play the memory game sometimes. Like I was talking about what we called the swamp, which was the pond down by our house, and I was like, my earliest memory of there is standing on top of the cliffs and looking down at carp swimming in the water back when it used to be a real fishing place. And then they bulldozed it, and then they built duplexes there, and then they still had woods, and you could get wild strawberries there, like right where you were fishing. You could like stop fishing and reach around and like grab wild strawberries and eat them. And they had like uh, there was like wild plums. That was a nice neighborhood. Wild plums, wild strawberries. um, pears, um, all kind of apples. They had a certain species of apple there that I just sit in the tree and eat like 10 of them. And then somebody cut down my favorite tree, and I felt like the goddamn Lorax man, except for I wanted to take the axe to the people. The Lorax was a much more peaceful, ecologically minded dude, if you remember the story. I was much angrier about it because that was my apple tree that I climbed in as a kid, and somebody decided to chop it down. And then they chopped down everything. They cleared out all the woods, and they made it into grass because for some reason, I guess people are offended by like woods and disorder, and they like everything to look like a golf course. And one story that I remember from that is when my sister destroyed her knee because she was like do this deer in the headlights kind of thing. I don't know. She had seizures, so she might have been having like minor seizures when she would have the deer in the headlights reaction. But she like rammed me on a bicycle. She might have been having a small seizure while she was riding the bicycle, but she also had grand mal seizures too. But this one day, um, her and my foster brother, there was like a big hill coming down toward the swamp, and then you could go out on the swamp because it would be frozen over because you're sled riding, and I don't know, it's very cold out in the winter times. And so you had this huge sled run going down this hill. Unfortunately, it was through a woods. So occasionally you would have to duck underneath, like limbs and, guide yourself around trees and stuff. And at one point, they got off course a little bit too much. And my foster brother said, bail to my sister. And my sister did not bail and hit a tree on a sled and like tore up her knee hideously, like ligaments and tendons, and she has like a crazy ass scar on her knee from it. I'm talking about my younger sister, not the older sister that seems to dislike me. Um, the younger sister that's indifferent to me, not the older sister that seems to outright dislike me. But anyways, he actually had to drag her home on the sled while she was screaming. Like pull her up this hill, like pull her from the woods and like put her on a sled, like what is it, a travoy, if you know what that is, and just drug her home on a sled and said, "I didn't do it," because that's all that mattered. It's like, yeah, this dumb bitch did this to herself, man. I didn't do it. It wasn't my fault. I didn't guide her into a tree. Please don't send me back to another foster home where I don't get to eat. Um, but anyways, yeah, that's one thing that happened down there. Another thing that happened that I guess a story that I could tell is that I was throwing snowballs at cars because it's a thing that kids do. And nope, I have to amend that. It wasn't snowballs, it was rocks. I was throwing rocks at cars. Okay, people don't like that, by the way. If you there's no way there's a kid watching this, but yeah. I don't know how you would react if a kid like hit your car with a rock, but this guy reacted in this manner. He stopped his vehicle, which now that I'm thinking about it was a hatchback truck, and he got a axe handle out of the back of it and started coming toward me at a very rapid pace. Now, like I said, I am not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I understand badness coming my way when I see it, and so I take off running. This guy, he don't want to give up. Now this is a long way from the swamp, but I run and take a shortcut through these people's yard to get to the swamp. I already have a plan in mind because though I am not the sharpest, I am not the dullest either. Um, and this is an awful plan, but it worked. This is a very Rambo type of plan, escape plan that I had hatched out, which is these people used to cut their grass, and then like where the woods started, all the people would like use the same pile of grass, and it was just moldy. You know how grass gets when it's old and moldy and disgusting. Well, you know that I ran there from the guy with the axe handle, whose car that I damaged, and just buried myself in moldy, stinking, disgusting grass. And you know, I don't know how I breathed or what the deal was, but that was what I did. And that is don't ever do that. That's disgusting. Um, yeah. So the guy with the axe handle didn't get me though, so I was good. You know, because I don't know if the axe handle. I'm not sure what the point of the axe handle was, but if he meant to beat me with the axe handle, which was going through my head due to the way that I was raised and the amount of violence that I was around, or that he took it as a precautionary measure, or he was a maniac just in general, or he was going to hand me over to my father, which I didn't want either. But anyways, I chose moldy grass. I chose to bury myself in moldy grass. So yeah, that's okay. There's a couple of stories there. Um, Also, a cool thing about the swamp was is like it had a whole bunch of vines in the woods back there, and you could swing on the vines and play Tarzan. And so I had like a pretty good vine. Well, I thought it was a pretty good vine. But I guess after you swing on a vine so long, and you should like take a hint because you start like swinging lower on it and stuff like that. But it broke over top of the water, and I landed in the water. But I was swinging from like way up on this hill, like a. I didn't do the Tarzan yell or anything because that wouldn't have been cool. But I was swinging over top of the water, and it broke. But it kept getting lower, and from my weight and swinging on it. And I should have figured out at some point that I should have hung with a new vine. But I could never get to, that thing where you like swing from one vine to another vine. That's just a bunch of bullshit because there was a tons of vines back there. And believe me, I tried many times to pull that off. To like swing from one vine and catch another vine and swing from that vine, but not a doable thing. Now that brings me around to another story I believe I already told, though, where I did a cartoon Wile E. Coyote thing. And I jumped out of a second story house window that was a dilapidated house, and they had a cable hanging from it. And I jumped out the window, the second story window, holding on to the cable, swinging out on the vine, not understanding the basics of physics. So I swung out on the vine, which was actually a cable, and then spun around face first and smacked into the side of the building, face first, and then slid down in a heap, just like Wile E. Coyote. And there was no roadrunner at all involved in it. It was just me doing something incredibly not well thought out and stupid, like kids tend to do, like throwing rocks at cars. I'm not sure what the thrill or benefit of that. I think the thrill was like, you throw the rock at the car and then you're hidden, or you hide and the guy don't see you, and he's like, what the hell was that? Or like, it's just vandalism, just stupid kid kid stuff. But that guy saw me. But yeah, okay, there's a couple of stories, so your time was not completely wasted. And yeah, I've always done like foolish things that made no sense. So um yeah, I just like to do things that were interesting, or that were funny, or that like seemed. I wasn't a thrill seeker necessarily, but just like jumping out of a second story window, holding on to a cable, and like you're gonna swing out, but then like, okay, I'm too high off of the ground holding onto this cable, so I'm not gonna let go of this cable. But then what is the consequence gonna be but for me to spin around and hit face first into the side of a house? Yeah, not well thought out. I probably would have been better off to let go of the cable and take my chances with a sprained ankle or something. Um, yeah, man, my nose is itchy. Um, yeah, I don't know why I would do. I guess I don't know. Do all kids do stupid shit like that? I don't know. We used to have like apple fights, and I beat my brother in the head with an apple, and I felt guilty because I hurt him real bad. But I think my dad did much worse. They used to have like hickory nut fights, so that was his bad influence. But we would have apple fights all the time, and he would yell at us for it because I think he hit somebody in the head with a hickory nut, and there was like bad consequences because of it. I mean, I don't even know what a hickory nut looks like or what it is or how big it is. But apparently they're very big and hard, the shells of them. So I don't know. I am not a country boy. I grew up in the suburbs. There was greenery around. There was even a peach tree. It's one of the fruits I couldn't think of. There was like you could like walk through my neighborhood and just like it was like you could like they call it grazing in grocery stores. You could do that in my neighborhood if people didn't catch you. You just I can remember some of the trees like the I can remember the plum tree on 11th Street, and then I'm sorry, I know it's just something from the outside since I have to have the window open since it's unusually warm here. It probably has something to do with people cutting grass. It's bothering me, but um, you can wander around and just like eat off the land. It was other people's land is the problem though. So these people had three different kinds of grapes growing on this grapevine, but they also had a big dog. So you had to be careful with that one because they would sick their dog on you if you ate their grapes. And once I barely beat that dog into Stacy Bell's house, the same Stacy Bell that hated his name Stacy because it was a girl's name. He hated that name. I guess he got made fun of it for, but he was a Jehovah's Witness. Washington High School, I do not care about you. But he's like, I got to get me a manly name. He's like, I'm changing my name. I'm not going to hurl you across the room, but I'm going to try to turn you off. Um, I almost hurled it across the room. I really did. I have very poor impulse control when I haven't slept. I'm just turning it off. There, I think it's off. I don't know. Um, damn it! Now I forgot what I was saying. And it was. I'm sure it was going to be riveting too. Uh, I got to start blocking numbers on this phone. Um, okay, I was talking about walking through the neighborhood and eating fruit. Oh, the Stacy Bell guy was like his whole life. He said when he turned 18, he was going to change his name because he had a girl's name. Then he changed his name to Jerry. The manly name of Jerry. It's like, and I knew somebody named Geraldine that everybody called her Jerry. And I think by that time I was already wrapped up in not dying and stuff. But I never, that was an uncool kid. But I would have went back to him and said, "You understand that like Jerry is short for Geraldine, so you really accomplished nothing." Jerry is, yeah, it's one of them pat kind of names that can go either way. I think that brought on Star Trek, one of them Star Trek things, is named Jerry. Um, she played Seven of Nine and was part Borg on one of them Star Trek shows. Her name was Jerry something. She had an odd face and she basically wore like I'm not gonna hurl my phone and break my free phone. She also had like a skin tight thing on. It's like she was wearing nothing, which drove all the nerds crazy. I can hear the lady outside saying, "Come on," to her dog. Uh, okay, I guess that's enough time killed at your expense. And I'm gonna. This will be my daily vlog of a vlog of nothingness, and that's what I will call it. As a vlog of nothingness. Goodbye, and pray for me that I get some sleep because I really need it.